Fiona, I'm so thrilled to have you in the room, and I'm looking forward to having a conversation with you about how purpose shows up in our brands, what we mean about branding, and of course about your role as a board director on the Branson Centre and what you do at Virgin. So without going into too much detail, perhaps you can just give us a sense of who you are, what is important to you, and maybe a glimpse of what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Well, firstly, I'm so excited to be here, and it's always brilliant working with you, so thank you.
Thank you.
My role at Virgin is brand director for the group, so I work across all the different businesses, and my speciality is brand and creative capability. So we take the DNA and we codify it, and we ensure people can bring it to life across all of the experiences that they create and all aspects of creative expression, from identity through to design to campaign. So have a wonderful, wonderful role.
Of course, and it's exciting, and I love the fact that every time I meet you, there's always something that is red on you, be it your shoes or lipstick. And
Oh no! Can I put my shoes on screen?
yes, of course.
I see you
I
wearing
know
yours
I
too.
am wearing a red shoe, but
and
I
I'm
don't.
nothing like a little red lippy.
There's a little bit of a red lip, so it's living the brand. And so, Fiona, I think there is something to be said about how, of course, we have the group's identity and how this shows up in our customer experiences. But I think before we even get there, it's about understanding purpose. And so what's your take in terms of how those of us who look after the brands in our businesses, how do we embed purpose in our brands?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the first thing is, what is purpose?
I think that's
And,
actually even better. Let's start there.
So purpose is about really being clear on the role and meaning you want to play in people's lives. It's why we exist, why are we here on earth, what difference do we want to make? And Richard had a lovely quote that if you're not making a difference in people's lives, you don't have a business.
I mean, also when we just say Richard casually, we're talking about
yes,
Sir
Richard Branson, the wonderful founder and
Yes.
our bearded leader. In my role, purpose is a great rudder for what we do. Right. So we really make sure that everything we create has a wonderful brand story. It's beautifully designed, but equally it has to be ethically made and sustainably produced. Gone are the days of creating product that goes to waste or fueling unnecessary consumption. And there's just such a myriad of materials that you can utilize now that can be reused, recycled, upcycled, composted. We don't have to be delivering single-use plastic items. So it's a great way to guide the activity that we do. The other layer to it is purpose attracts talent.
Yes.
So, really good talent are interested in working for conscious activist brands. They want to know that their work is meaningful. They want to know that they can be in an inclusive environment, that they're going to be allowed to thrive and shine, and that their well-being is important, and bringing their whole selves to work is important. So it attracts talent, and then consumers are really voting with their feet now. Yeah. I think they're incredibly conscious. They know that their dollar and where they spend it is important, and they expect business to be ethical and responsible. And if they lift the hood on a business and it's not, then, be afraid, be very afraid.
Of course. I think it's what I'm loving about this conversation is it really ties into the work that we're doing in the Branson Centre, where we're figuring out and helping businesses or enabling businesses to embed purpose across their entire sort of journey, and also in everything that they do. So we talk about these areas of impact, and so you touch on this idea that purpose attracts talent. So that's talking about people. You're talking about purpose guiding us in our decisions. That's processes, and all of this it's so exciting for me. And so, what is your understanding, and how have you, in your role, been playing this role of embedding purpose into the brand?
Yeah. Well, the first thing we did, and it's now been a good 10, 12 years, although Richard arguably has been purpose-led right from the beginning. But in about 2010, 2011, there was a team that articulated Virgin's purpose, which is changing business for good, which is the
the
same as the Branson
Branson
Centre purpose. And that made sense because Virgin Group is in the business of creating businesses. So that's our currency. And the whole thinking behind it was Virgin always goes in and smartly disrupts sectors. So there's a for good, a permanence to it. But equally, the for good is for people, planet, and profit. You know, if we equally, you want to be profitable because you need it to be sustainable. But if it's not doing good additive to people and planet, then you know, what's our point of being? That purpose is the kind of the central force of Virgin, and then every single business needs to articulate their own purpose in a way that's relevant to their sector, that really works for, you know, what people are looking for. But it all ladders up to changing business for good. So there's been a continued effort to make sure every single Virgin business has a purpose that is the thread that goes through the entire business. Gone are the days of having a marketing tagline and then the business doesn't actually stand for it. So it's really important that leadership all the way through to frontline get the purpose and feel like they can contribute to it. Once they you know, it needs to be born of great insight. And then it needs to work across every single audience. So it needs to work for employees, it needs to work for customers, it needs to work for broader community, for partners, and the environment. And if your purpose lens doesn't apply itself to all of those audiences, and you can't say, here's the tangible difference I make, then it might not be all-encompassing enough. And then the other thing is that the purpose is at the heart of our brand DNA. So it's our why. We've got a very clear proposition, which is feel-good experiences that people want to be part of, and that's multi-layered too. And then we have our values and our tone of voice, which are how we do things. And we don't embark on any kind of development, be it identity or experience design, without a business having its purpose really well articulated, because it's got to inform what you create. We've also developed a high-level relationship journey. So loads of businesses will use customer journey mapping, but we've turned it into a relationship map from intrigue to hello, to being together, to meeting the family, to having that little bump in the road, living happily ever after, and then occasionally, you know, circumstances sometimes dictate you break up.
Yes.
But woven through that high-level journey are our values and our purpose. So really thinking about accessibility, about inclusion, about environmental impact, around ethics, data, governance. It's all built into that experience design model. So it's embedded.
I think for me, what is really making me almost giggle inside is a lot of the entrepreneurs who have interacted with the Branson Centre and are going through some of our programs. I'm thinking particularly the entrepreneurs who are on Ignite. There is this moment when they are now interacting with us and they realize that articulating purpose is actually really, really hard.
Yeah.
And they sometimes, I think there might be moments of frustration because we're very clear in terms of saying we can't move forward until this has been articulated, because that is what will inform the next steps in your journey in terms of getting you ready for investor or getting ready for market. And so I'm really happy to have this almost validation, which we didn't plan, in terms of you really being clear on the idea that you are not making decisions unless, you know, purpose is clear, well articulated, and we take it from there. It's at the heart of everything.
Yeah. It's the foundation, it's the blueprint or the red print.
The red print in our case. So I think maybe one last question, because I think some people who'll be listening will say, well, it's all good and well when we're talking about how purpose is embedded in these businesses that are generally multinational, pretty large corporates in terms of what the Virgin businesses are. What can I do as an entrepreneur to start this journey of embedding purpose in my brand?
So I think just ask, what difference am I going to make? You know, by creating this business, whether it's a bakery through to I mean, you were describing the most incredible AI businesses. In doing this business, what is it going to mean in people's lives? Why are they going to be happier that I'm here? Because I think then you can work out what your point of difference is.
Yes.
And equally, it has to be born of what you love to do as well. So just ask those questions, get insight, It's so easy to chat to people, chat to your teams. If you've now got you've got a couple of people working with you, ask them. Ask them what's wrong with this sector. What pain points can we solve? What's coming down the line? What's society and culture needing? And just stew in that detail for a little bit, and it will emerge. It will emerge, and it'll go. I'm going to do. We were talking about agribusinesses, worm farming in this way, because it's going to mean this in people's lives. It's going to mean this in terms of the environment. And by the way, when they receive my product, they're actually going to be enthralled with it because I've thought about it in such a wonderful way.
Yeah.
So I think you just have to do the work.
Yeah. Absolutely. What is Fiona's purpose?
Oh, it's so interesting because I did a lot of work in my 20s around really establishing, reason for being and vision for life. And at that point, it was about creating a space of love, happiness, and warmth where people shine and where they feel brilliant. Because I think if we all get our potential, the world is a better and wonderful place. So I think it's about inspiring brilliance. And I've just realised, because I didn't know this question was coming with you, is that actually my role is about that too, because it's about inspiring extraordinary. So it's getting extraordinary people to create extraordinary Virgin experiences. So all that codification is about giving people a lovely platform to go and play and have fun and create lovely work.
I love it. Thank you. And you really have inspired extraordinary. And I see this every time I encounter with you or engage with you. So thank you for your time, Fiona.
Oh, it's been lovely.
Yes.
Thank you.